Since laser scanning was introduced, a lot of surveying and mapping firms have struggled with how to integrate it into their processes in a way that adds to their bottom line. Langan Engineering in New Jersey has actually made laser scanning a very successful part of their business. And with me today is Joe Romano. He's the Vice President of Surveying and Mapping for Langan. Joe, you've done it a little bit differently than a lot of surveying firms in that you've actually set up a separate division that focuses on scanning. Why did you do it that way?
Well, Christy, what we did was we actually took some of our surveying staff and trained them in this application of scanning. And we did that because we think that the root of scanning is fundamentally surveying. There's a surveying technology or a surveying role that's inherent with it, and having that background is certainly helpful.
And now you guys have grown quite a bit just over the last several years. You have, I think, 5 laser scanners and over 30 employees that are working in your surveying division. But you said, I believe you said about 50% of that is in scanning.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the difference in this recession in keeping us together and keeping us as a viable group within the firm. More than half the group is cross trained to do traditional work and scanning. And it's been a great stabilizer for the group. I think when you're hiring a service provider or a professional, you're really buying a little bit of that person and a little bit of trust and commitment in that person and what that person can bring to the table. And I think it starts with having a relationship with the client. And, you know, sometimes you could run into a client that's a little adverse. You may have to hand them off to one of your peers or one of your colleagues. But I think that's the root of what we're trying to do, a relationship and trying to all get to the same end, which is a successful project.
Do you think we're getting to a tipping point where clients are beginning to value that 3D information?
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's a combination of education on our part, conferences like this, and education on other software vendors that are driving that. There's definitely a cost savings and a full life cycle of an asset. If you're designing a building, that model and that information can live forever with the asset. As far as a tipping point, I think we're a little bit past that. The firms that are going to be successful will be entrenched in 3D just as 3D topography was years ago. There is one or two hindrances I still see between the 3D and the 2D world, and some of that is regulatory compliance. You know, if you're submitting a set of site plans or an architectural set of plans, you still need to have a signed and sealed set. So until our regulation change and allow for those as submissions, there will still be a need for a 2D paper.
Now, you're part of the new USIBD organization. Do you think that's going to change a lot of things in the profession?
Well, I could tell you from my standpoint, I certainly hope so. A lot of our work is for, you know, it's a very small community, even though at this conference there's a lot of us. It's a small community. We compete against each other, but yet we're all peers and colleagues. And to be able to compete on a level plane is a big advantage for us and for a client. We bid on countless numbers of jobs where the clients aren't educated in what they're asking for, and they end up just taking the low price. And you know, you're not getting apples to apples, and hopefully the USIBD will change that.
Sure. Well, thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate it.
Thank you.